is the author of Beyond Folly, which is his first book. He's a San Francisco State grad student. He's 27 years old. He's a basketball coach and a substitute teacher. And now he's going to read from this book, which is on sale over there for a meager $10. Please welcome Emil.
Thank you. Actually, if I was ever placed in front of a basketball team and asked to coach them for a game, we'd lose. We'd score actually not even 2 points. It's baseball. Just to say how terrible I am at anything involving basketball. Anyways, yeah, I was a pitcher, a left-handed pitcher. I threw like 40 miles an hour. That fast.
It was a change-up.
Anyways, hello everyone. Thank you for coming. Hello.
Let's get real.
Thank you for coming. No? Okay.
Yep.
Anyways, this is a book about a substitute teacher who teaches in San Francisco's public schools. It's not to be taken terribly seriously. And with that, I'm going to sort of introduce you to some of his colleagues. This is the first story. It takes place at an annual substitute teaching orientation. And there is a population at this meeting simply because it's mandatory. The breakfast table at the orientation is drawing a range of reactions from the substitutes. Some fill their plates methodically, with their eyes closed, as though sleepwalking in their kitchen. Others stack their bagels and danishes like tires in a lot, considering it a small victory that the convention has provided enough for seconds. I can barely even look at this food, one woman says. I'm a vegan. Just the smell makes me sick. She has a gourd-sized water bottle fastened to her waist that swings and clinks against things, inevitably drawing attention. What about the bagels? Horton offers. Our bodies are not meant to digest processed wheat and flour. They're not? Since when? Asks a man, concerned. Do you ever wake up in the morning feeling stiff in your ankles, or tender in your ears, or hair follicles? She asks. Tender in my hair? That's your body telling you it's allergic to wheat. My follicles? He asks, reaching for his bald head. What about that fruit over there, Horton says, a pragmatist. Cantaloupe. I've been off of melon for 10 years. It makes my rheumatoid arthritis flare up. Do you have any idea what that feels like? Horton takes his bagels and finds a seat next to an antique in a wheelchair who is already asleep. Known as the wheelchair lady and resembling Larry King with a perm, some shoulder pads, and some pearls, she may be Earth's first substitute teacher. Her tried and true method, as legend has it, is to wheel herself into a classroom, take attendance, wheel herself into the doorway as a blockade, and fall asleep. The running joke is that on the day when fish evolved legs, she was substitute teaching, asleep on shore, blocking the amphibians from taking their first steps on land. Okay. Horton is the protagonist in this set of stories. He's the substitute teacher that sort of faces these daily tragedies. So let's join him in a PE class that is being sort of quarantined in a gymnasium due to rain outside, which involves stuffing 70 or so children into a small basketball court and trying to like engage them somehow, like healthily or like whatever. And Horton has been dealing with these two kind of like numbnuts gym teachers all day, and there's this other teacher named Miss Havanoff who's like a very like unsavory, large, grumpy, like unfit woman. Anyways, so "Hey, donkey brain, zip it and sit down," echoes Brody from a nook in the gym. Miss Havanoff blows her whistle and invites students to sit for roll call or be expelled. Then she huffs over to Brody. "Here we go," he says. "Brody, why don't you organize the rainy day activity for the students today?" "You gotta be a kid?" he snorts. "Psh," scoffs Wally in support. Brody, followed by a psh from Brody. "Call me bro." After attendance, Brody disappears into a side door and emerges with a basketball. "This is a bowl," he says to himself, and explains his activity to the full gym. There will be one basketball game on one standard basketball court involving all 70 students. Something to the tune of 30 versus 30, with a few subs, of course. Brody and Wally join their two classes for one team, feigning intent to team coach. They are presently chuckling about an irrelevant matter. Horton is stranded with Miss Havanov, who is busy hating her colleagues on the other side of the court. Brody ushers the basketball through the sea of children toward half court for tip-off. A nerd on Brody's team has been selected to oppose a kangaroo-faced barbarian from Horton's squad at half court. Brody lifts the ball into the air. The man-child jumps and swats, hitting nothing. Then the ball comes down and bounces off the malnourished nerd's head. He crumbles. The game has begun. And already it sounds like a heated labor union strike. When someone tries to follow the rules, say dribble, the ball either bounces off of someone's shins or is savagely burglarized like a loaf of bread during famine. Everyone is traveling. Children spew unorthodox half-court shots, not to score, but to avoid being tackled for the ball. Layups are impossible. Passing is dangerous. Waves of movement reveal students who are lying on the floor, trampled. Cannibalism is brewing. Knowing who is on whose team is incalculable. A small Asian girl looks down to find the ball in her hand. She produces the same look of terror as a soldier who sees he is holding his spleen. She shoots it and is promptly stuffed by someone. The ball ends up right back in her hands. She heaves it again to divert all pursuers of the ball. Her shot is once again stuffed. This time, the ball returns to her face and flattens her nose. She disappears, swallowed into people. The ball pops up randomly, as though it has been stuck in the depths of the sea and is forcefully surged to the surface. From there, it goes for a ride along the fingertips of the high-voltage children like a crowd surfer. Miss Havanov is boiling, hissing soliloquies of all-encompassing bitterness on side court. There comes a point when some kids begin stacking on one another in a makeshift pyramid toward the hoop, the goal being to pass the ball to the highest kid for a slam dunk. Much like ancient Egypt, there are many casualties in the erecting of this pyramid. Fingers are sprained, lips are split, wrists are twisted, teeth are chipped. Naturally, Wally and Brody on the sideline can't get enough. They chuckle and point, directing each other to the excess of bloopers. Children are approaching Wally and Brody in need of medical aid. However, Brody and Wally have waved them off and point to Miss Havanoff, who throws her hands up in a fit. "You walk to them and see why they can't treat the injured. It's their goddamned game," Miss Havanoff snarls at Horton. Horton walks to the other side, acting as messenger between the two teachers. "Can you believe that woman?" Brody bursts. "A real twat, Horton," says Wally. "Like we've been saying all along." "They don't pay us enough for this, you McFaddy." The children are aching, bleeding, fading. "What should I tell her?" Horton asks. "Send them to the counselors, for Christ's sake," says Wally. I can't be seen touching any kids, not with all the lawsuits going around. You know my buddy over at Jack London Middle School? Horton wonders if that's even a question. He got fired for teaching some little jerk how to throw a baseball, grabbing his arm, giving him proper technique. They said he was reaching for his yoo-hoo. Unbelievable. Then, did you hear about that other guy over there at Willie Stargell Elementary? Got fired just for being out on the playground with a kid, not even touching him, just standing out there after school. Said he was looking suspiciously hungered. Had to leave the district, pack up his whole family, and go somewhere else. Sorry, man, I'm not taking any risks. I'm not getting the boot because some little bastard blows the whistle on me when I'm trying to put a Band-Aid on him, telling everyone I was reaching for his Willy Wonka. No way. Not with the kids waving their flags about their ding-dongs, supports Wally. Everyone's putting together tales about their Tootsie Rolls. And the girls with their na-nas, Wally belabors. Horton walks back to tell Miss Havanov that the current shortage of medical aid is a result of teachers saving their jobs. She shoots her whistle and storms into the middle of the court, shoving children the way hippopotamuses shove water when performing cannonballs. The injured are sent as a limping caravan to the counseling office where there are no ice packs or first aid kits. I think I'm going to stop there. Thank you for listening. Once again, this is Beyond Folly. I think I have like 3 or 4 copies left over there for $10, so if anyone's interested after Mr. Paul Hoover talks, I'm happy to sell them to you. Thanks for listening.